Hey, welcome to Rock and Roll Medicine. I'm Denny Spinks. I'm here with Bobby Jensen from the Dead Cowboys. How are you doing today?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm all right. I've been busy like you, I'm sure. Um, I was setting everything up and trying to get things rolling, and of course, I lost track of time. So,
Yeah, well, that'll
again, my
happen.
apologies.
No
Um,
rest, no rest for the wicked, and
I'm
we are the
telling you,
wicked.
and I
Yeah.
was just watching. I was going through some of your music, whatnot, that you have on YouTube and whatnot. And I'm looking at the graphics and who did the videos and whatnot, and they're very cool. I
Thanks,
like
man.
I like how that was done. Who did you have do that? I should say.
If I'm saying his name right, it's Andy Plinkton, and he does the lyric videos for Judas Priest and Alice Cooper, and he's over in London. He put those together.
Okay, I like those visuals very
We're
much.
also doing like a whole kind of story for 3 or 4 songs off the album. That's going to be a continuation story for one of the songs that's going to actually be thrown on the pressing of the album that's not on it right now. It's called The Devil You Know. And
Yeah,
that's kind of a narration to the song The Lake, The Demon Desperado, and Mexico. And so it's going to tie all those in, and you're going to go through the Dead Cowboys robbing the train and stealing souls, and then going into Demon Desperado and killing the preacher, and the
nice.
preacher selling his soul to the devil so he can go kill the cowboys, and it
So
turns
was this
into
the plan all along, or is this just something that's kind of evolved?
it's just evolved. We did the first 2 videos, and we were talking about, well, what should we do next? And in the meantime of doing like an actual live performance video where you see us, I was saying to him that it would be kind of cool to do the story of the lake and the uh, Demon Desperado songs, because they're really cool story songs lyrically, and they can tie into each other. And we got to talking, and then thought, well, we could put all these together, and it would make a really cool 15-minute kind of visual story to the songs. And
Yeah, for sure. And I was watching the W know on that video, and that video just creeps me out.
yeah,
She's just sitting in a rocking chair with a dead baby,
yeah,
and I was just like, man, it's so creepy, but you want to watch it, but that's all she does is just sit in a rocking chair.
yeah. That's all it is. It's that,
But
and
it's
so
cool. I mean,
I, I didn't I
I
didn't have
like that.
anything to put to that. I'd recorded that song, and made the video. I actually, believe it or not, wrote that song and recorded what you're listening to when you hear that on Christmas Day, like 3 years ago.
No
I just
shit.
The idea just came on to me when I was sitting on my couch, and I hit record, and that's what came out. And then I was like, I should make a video for it, just for shits and gigs, so it can be on YouTube. And yeah, a lot of people are creeped out by it, which I like.
Yeah,
And then I didn't put it on this record. Now, after the fact, I was with the label, and we're like, that song should go on there, so we're gonna add it to it. And
very
like
cool.
like I said, make it part of the trilogy or whatever of the lake, the Demon Desperado, Mexico. So
Yeah, for sure. And I was kind of reading the bio, and it says the band was inspired by Jelly Roll, and I,
a
I don't
jelly
hear
roll.
I don't hear Jelly Roll in there at all.
There's no, I don't know where you saw that.
'Cause, well, it was I. We'll just blame Google.
when when I was inspired of music in general, just music growing up, I think my first introduction was like just hearing House of the Rising Sun. So it wasn't
Yeah,
really the Animals. It was hearing that song when I was probably 2 or 3 years old, and it creeped me out. It was one of those songs that was like, it was just haunting. You listen to it, it's a
yes,
pretty haunting tune. And then I heard Jim Croce, I Got a Name, and I thought, well, that's a pretty cool song. And so, 3, 4 years old, that's all right. And then I was introduced to Kiss, and the whole world changed for me at that point. When I saw Gene Simmons spitting blood, I didn't care what came before it. It was Kiss now. And and then along through life, I'd say that a lot of my inspirations for, maybe not inspirations, but what has led me to play and do what I do, it's Led Zeppelin, Kiss, and probably Waylon Jennings. So
Is that where the Dead Cowboys comes from, the Waylon Jennings side? Because
I,
there is kind of a Western feel, but
well,
and a Skinner feel. Does that make sense?
well, we call it heavy Western because we can't call it Southern rock coming from Minnesota. and and yeah, it's storytelling lyrics. Like you've listened to it. It's not just a bunch of screaming, yelling
Hmm.
about getting chicks or whatever. Which there's a couple of those songs on there, but it's uh, it's more to tell the story and to bring you there. And it's I didn't think anybody was really doing that, so I thought let's add some rock and roll to the storytelling of the country music world and get it going. And 20 years ago, I had a group called the Dead Cowboys together, and it was based on kind of taking the thought behind it was taking bands, not bands, but songs that had somewhat of a Western theme. So you listen to Rat Wanted Man. That's a heavy
Right.
Western
Yeah.
song. You listen to Blind in Texas. Well, that's a Western tune. You listen to Run to the Hills. That's a whole Western story.
Yeah.
So it was like, let's pick songs that kind of have that Western theme. They tell a story. Back in the Saddle, we'd open the show with that, and then we added songs and gave them a countryside and gave them a rock and roll feel, like The Gambler. We tuned down to low D or C and did The Gambler in a really low, just eerie drum beaty thing. And we do Rhinestone Cowboy and Thin Lizzy's The Cowboy Song. And so it was kind of fun, but that was just four drunks playing covers. Um, Years later, I thought, you know what, that was such a great idea that it should really be an original band. So when COVID came, I left the group that I was in and started writing for this and kind of concentrating on making it the heavy Western theme for an original act.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds good. I like the concept. I like everything on it. It reminds me of when I was listening to it. Um, and it just, I don't know why it flashed and views like Volbeat as well. They did like the Hangman's Count, and they
Hmm.
did Lola Matina. Lola, I'll butcher these. But anyway, they got those Western things. And I think his is big Johnny Cash, right?
Yeah.
Um, so, and I like that. And like you said, you do the Rat, Wanted Man, Bon Jovi had what, Wanted Dead or
Well, they had
Alive,
Wanted Dead or Alive.
those
Yeah.
those themes, and they always seem to work if they're done right,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And everybody loves a good Western. I don't care who you are. Well,
Yeah.
I
I
mean, if you don't like a good Western, I don't know what's wrong with you. But
well, most of the songs, well, in fact, all the songs I wrote, I did in a different sense. I made sure that the bad guy won. So, so Mexico is kind of the story where you hear about I shot a man for snoring. So the main character of Mexico kills a man for snoring, gets arrested, breaks out of jail, steals the sheriff's horse, rides to Mexico, and has a battle with the cops and whatever on the border. And does he make it to Mexico? I don't know. Listen and find out. So I thought it was fun to make the bad guy win. A lot like the lake where they blow up the bridge and the train goes in the water and they steal everybody's souls and they ride off into the sunset.
yeah.
So I thought that would just be kind of a fun thing, and if it continues after this album, the stories that is, then that's cool. But if not, that's cool too. I've got a million songs to put out there for the world, and it's just deciding on what to do next.
So was this album all done over COVID, or was this?
Some of the songs I had written years ago, and one song, Mexico, we were done with the whole album. I was getting ready to turn it in to be manufactured, and magic falls from the sky. I got a cool guitar strap from Eddie Carlino, who makes Paul Stanley's guitar straps and stuff like that, from a girlfriend of mine. And she gave me this really cool guitar strap, and it's got scorpions in it, like real scorpions,
Oh, nice.
and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, this strap needs a guitar, so,
Yeah.
no better reason to buy a guitar than to have a badass strap. So I ordered this guitar, and it comes to me, and I start playing, and within an hour I had Mexico written,
Oh,
and
wow.
I called my engineer and I said, hey, we're not done yet, I need to come in and lay this down. So all the way up to right before the album was going to be pressed, I'd spent a few years to write the songs, and then that one showed up last minute, last second,
Wow.
and it's one of my favorites. It's a rockin' tune.
Yeah, if for sure. I'm gonna see if this will work. I want to show people the album here. I think what I want to do. I think because it's a very cool album cover. And I talked to Alcatraz earlier today and whatnot, and I love the fact that album covers are coming back. I mean,
Hmm.
I granted a lot of people aren't doing albums, but this album cover is pretty badass.
Yeah, thanks.
Um, I think
I think it gives a really good idea of what you're going to hear. You got a screaming demon singer, you got a mariachi band, and a huge semi behind him.
yeah, and it's very cool. I mean, it's very detailed. So
Yeah.
did someone draw this, or is this like
Well, I did the original artwork that looks almost exactly what that is. And then I had Melanie Watts, who has done the artwork for Alice Cooper and the Hollywood Vampires. And I got a hold of her and asked her to make it bigger, because when I had done it, I didn't make it big enough so that it could go within the bleed of when the album was going to be pressed and stuff.
yeah,
So the guy on the right, his guitar was cut off completely, and it wasn't square. So I asked her to do it, and she did it, as well as I had done the artwork with the wolves and had her come in and do that. And she's a great artist.
I
So,
mean,
and
I,
she did that all freehand by looking at my picture. She
really.
actually painted that.
Well, it's very cool because if you look, you got the amps, you got the fire, and I can't read this stuff, but I mean, it's very, very cool.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's the color with the gray, right? And
Yeah.
then, you got the ghostly images, and I think it's just badass. And if I was like 12 years old again, looking through album covers, I would definitely pick this one up,
Yeah.
Um, and
Well, see,
I was
that's
just
the generation we come from. When
yes,
I was young, I'd walk through a record store, and I always thought, why are record stores in genre when they should just be alphabetical? Because I think calling something a certain kind of music really goes against, or it's harmful for someone to listen to it, or they can't find it. That's something they would like, if that makes any sense.
yeah,
So when I walked through the music store, I looked at the album cover and I'd think, wow, this is cool. It's got some skull head dude with a hatchet. And, it's Iron Maiden Killer. So you take it
yeah,
home and you've got an awesome album. You were basically listening with your eyes before you even heard it.
yeah.
And you went home, you put it on, and if you were lucky, the music was as cool as the album cover. you know?
Very. I mean, and like you were saying, with the whole Western, like Wasp, awesome album covers, always, you know, um, even Rats and Bon Jovi's, they had cool covers as well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Kiss
um,
had always had a cool
yeah,
album cover.
absolutely.
You know?
And I think that was the marketing back then, of course, and you're right, the 80s were so different. They were put I don't know who was in charge of genre, but they would put all kinds of people who weren't hard rock in there, or people who shouldn't have been hard rock and labeled hard rock. And then when the 80s got, hit into the 90s and got crushed by, the changing of the scene, other people who weren't even involved in it got killed,
Right.
right? So I genres always bother me as well.
It's like,
Um,
is it good music? Then that's what it should be. You know,
right.
when I was young and I'd listen to the radio, I could hear like Zeppelin on.
Uh
You know,
huh.
you'd hear the Immigrant Song, but then it would go into The Devil Went Down to Georgia, and then you could hear Convoy, and then you'd be back to, something else that's heavy, Back in Black,
Yeah.
and it was like, it was just cool songs all in a row, and it didn't matter really what it was, and I worry about that with this. Sometimes we're on stations that we're coming on right after Obituary was on. I'm thinking we've got no business being here.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna go, what in the hell is this? But
Well,
I
I
think,
mean, yeah. I know what you're talking about for sure, because I also do a radio show on Saturdays for a station called Bikers Inner Circle Radio,
uh-huh.
and it's bikers. It's they're old schools, Western, Southern rock, this and that. And I thought you guys would fit perfectly in this thing, because I come in and I just do my hard rock and metal stuff. And although I did play you last week, um, and I just thought, man, you guys could probably be on heavy rotation on this channel, just because of what you sound like, how everybody else that they play, sounds like as well.
Yeah.
Um, and I think you just fit in perfectly. And I'll probably talk to a couple friends of mine who run it and see what they say. Uh,
Yeah.
and they'll watch this too as well. But I definitely know what you're saying.
It's
Um,
like this isn't gonna appeal to everybody in the metal market. It's not going to appeal to everybody in the country market, but it will appeal to everybody who grew up with Evil Knievel, Smokey and the Bandit, Convoy, Kiss, and AC/DC.
yeah.
I think if those things were in your life and you were a BMX kid and you grew up in the dirt, you're going to like this. This is going to appeal to you.
So how many tracks are on the album?
Right now there's 9, and there's going to be 10 once we
Yeah.
repress it with The Devil You Know.
Oh, cool. And when does it be released? Because it's gonna be have to repress and all that stuff, right? So
Yeah, I think we're just not even going to worry about like calling it a re-release. We'll just sell it with the new album with the new song on it.
gotcha.
The album came out June 21st.
Okay, gotcha.
So we've got Bad Friends and Good Times was the first single, and then Super Country Cowboy. I snuck Mexico out there onto the YouTube stuff, and I think we're going to do When the Cows Come Home next, and then we're going to release the Demon Desperado and the Lake all together in
Nice.
probably the fall.
Yeah. And so what? Do you have any plans for tours or any of that stuff all set up, ready to
Well,
go?
we're working on trying to get a tour together for next year, and right now we've got kind of 6 regional shows through the year where we're at in Wisconsin and Iowa and Minnesota.
You guys working on? So, I mean, you got a long way to go as far as like from then and there. Are you doing? Are you reaching out to the festivals and the cruises and stuff like that?
Yep,
Because I
yep.
think you'd do fine on like M3, um, and any of those festivals, as far as like Rocklahoma, which is going on here, I think in next week and a half. I
Yeah.
think you'd be fine on those, and even some of the bills. I don't. I was trying to think of who would be a good fit for you guys to play with, you know.
Yeah.
And that's where I think it kind of gets kind of convoluted, but still, I mean, you
Well,
get
here's the thing. We can hold our own with anybody.
right.
So it's like, well, I would prefer to be out there with somebody like Blackberry Smoke or
Yeah,
Buck Cherry,
for sure.
and you know, see what that's about. As much as I love Wasp, I don't think we belong on that one.
Yeah.
I'd love to be there and watch it, but I don't honestly think we belong with it. Uh, so AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, we could ride along with. We could be on a tour with Travis Tritt or Kid Rock.
Yeah.
So it's all about we're blazing our own trail, and that's what makes people always kind of question. Well, I can't really pigeonhole these guys. I don't know
Right.
where they belong. And I say we belong on the radio. Turn it up and shut the fuck up. Listen to it and have a good time. There's it doesn't have to have a label or be directed to a specific thing if it's good and it touches a nerve.
Yeah, I would agree. And I do think I could hear your stuff on the mainstream radio. Um that's not, will they do it? I don't know. They're all corporate now. Who knows?
Yeah.
Unless you can
Well,
find a DJ that it's actually gonna go out of the norm and play it kind of
right.
hard.
Well, you think about things like this. I'll bring up Zeppelin again. When you listen to Going to California, uh, and then you go into Immigrant Song or Rock and Roll, that's no different than what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's like, well, the only way to explain what Led Zeppelin is to somebody who's never heard it is to just play it for them. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Right.
You can't say, if you just listen to all the slower songs, you'd be like, oh, well, this is a nice folk band. But then
Yeah.
if you turned on all the heavy tunes, you'd go, this is a heavy metal or a hard rock band.
Right.
So, you know, I'm all about blurring the lines, and I don't care as long as it's a good song. You know. So
So
it'll be tough in the beginning, and that's where everybody was at when I was pitching it to a lot of people and record companies and managers. They're like, I don't know where to put this. And I just would respond with what I said a minute ago. We'll just
yeah.
put it on and shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna like it. You like it when they're listening to it and they're like, yeah. I go, well, then what's the problem?
Yeah.
You know? Because
Were they having to issue marketing?
you're trying to have the world like it rather than just letting it organically be fed to the people.
Right. Well, I
And
mean, people don't understand the like appetite, right? It took a year for that to even break. I mean,
yeah,
literally. So, some albums do have to like get under your skin and kind of mold and feel everything out, and next thing you know, you got multi-platinum album.
yeah. And
I mean,
I'd
it
I'd
can
rather
happen to
have
anybody.
I'd rather have that than the world grabbing onto it quick and getting sick of it just as fast.
Well, yeah,
You know,
because you know how the world is. It's 15 seconds, and they, up, got to go to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing.
right,
The attention span's so short.
right.
So I agree with you for sure.
It's like, hey, just roll one, smoke it, and turn on the lake, and you'll go there.
Yeah,
you know, or
for
crack a
sure.
beer for bad friends and good times, or have a shot of whiskey and fire up your bike and go for a ride. I'm not condoning drinking and driving, but you know what I mean. It's like
Yeah,
I grew up riding dirt bikes and playing in the mud and driving semis, so you know this music fits me, and I'm not like a one in a million kind of person. I'm one of a million
right.
people my age, and within 10 years forward and 10 back, all had the Evil Knievel toy, all
Hmm.
loved Smokey and the Bandit. So think of it like that. Sometimes people say, "Well, what kind of music is it?" And I say, "It's Smokey and the Bandit and Dukes of Hazzard." And they're like, "What?" And I go, "Yeah, Smokey and the Bandit, Dukes of Hazzard with a little kiss on top."
And the young guys who are doing the music stuff have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. You're like, I don't know if you can. You're not going to please them or keep them off their phone and go into the next thing anyway.
Right.
But over time, people will gravitate to stuff they like, and you hope it's this.
Yeah, I do. I think you definitely have a shot. I like it a lot, and I'm rooting for you.
Like
Um,
I'd be lying if I said I'm not up at 3 o'clock in the morning going, "What in the hell am I doing?" You
are
know what I
you
mean?
someone who constantly writes then?
Always, yeah, yeah. I can be taking a crap or driving down the road, and there's always an idea of something silly coming up.
Yeah, oh,
So
yeah,
so there's a million ideas, and 1% of them even getting written down or recorded. Most are forgotten about as I move on throughout the day.
yeah. I mean, I think having a concept album in this day and age, is kind of important. Only because everybody wants a single, wants a single, but you kind of, if you do a concept, then you kind of like you're having people go along with you with the ride for the ride.
Right,
Yeah. So
right.
so with your 4 songs, 3 4 songs that you got going on, you definitely got that and have that,
Yeah.
and you know
And
whether
the whole
you that's up to you, but I mean it's very cool in a way.
right. Well, I look at it like I built a really big house, and each room is a little different, but they're all rooms in the same house, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a little something for everybody on it, but overall, it's the Dead Cowboys when you're
Right.
listening to it, whether it's Crazy Horses or Jensen Road. It's who it is. So like I said, there isn't one song that comes off sounding like one band and then another song that sounds like something else. Like I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do when I put the album together. Like I don't want to please everybody on the planet. You can't. So I do it for me. I
Right.
wrote this album for me, and I said I'm going to be honest about it. I'm going to write these songs for me, and if I like it, if you build it, they'll come. And
Yeah.
the next big trick after it's done is really to get it out to the people so that they can hear it. Otherwise, I just have a great album for me, which is great, but I do want to go do gigs.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
I'd like to get
Uh,
out there and play some of them, and we got a big stage show and a
I think
big
you could
thing.
have played Sturgis over this last two
Oh
weeks.
yeah, yeah, and I've played Sturgis 20 times with the other band I was in, and that's always a good time. It's definitely our crowd,
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
but we'll maybe be there next year, and maybe to Daytona and to Galveston and to Jersey for all those bike rallies too, and Myrtle Beach. So, those are all in
Well,
the future.
I know next week is the Ride for Dime. Um, that one's next week for sure.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, and I totally spaced it off until I was reminded, and I'm like, oh yeah, it sucks. Time just flies, and then you forget, and then you're just like, where did it go? What do you mean
yeah,
it's next week?
yeah.
So,
Or what do you mean the interviews today? I was
yeah,
outside painting road cases, and I'm like, I thought I had something going on today. And then it was like quarter two, and I'm like, oh man, I checked the email. It's like I have an interview today,
yeah.
and
Well, on
I
that
go do it.
side,
And then
same thing.
you'd
I
thought it was a different time too. And it's like, man, when you're moving, you need a reminder.
It is, and usually it's on my phone, but the reminder on my phone, which was funny, does it in Pacific time when his calendar.
Oh,
So
okay,
it's set, so it was 2 hours difference. I'm in Kansas City, so
okay,
I was doing all the time, and if and I'm like, oh crap. And then when I was, getting everything ready, and I'm like, ah, shit, I thought it was 5:45. But
Yeah.
anyway, like
Well,
I said, that was it. Like you said, when you're moving, when you're doing things, you get things kind of convoluted and messed up, and
yeah.
um,
Well, Kansas City's a lot of fun. I've played probably 50 gigs down there when I was in hairball, and man, that's a good town. A lot of good
yeah, I
times
mean, it
there.
can be.
It always was when we were there.
Depending on where you go, you got to be careful. Some spots.
Yeah, yeah, that's anywhere.
Yeah,
But
true.
when
Um,
we roll into town, there was a party, and that's I'm still bringing the same thing. I'm bringing a big show with this. Got a huge stage show, and you know,
so are you doing so what as far as your plan, are you doing like a backdrop with visuals, or is it just for right now it's just the band?
oh no, there's a big thing going on. I had a group for the past 10 years called Almost Cooper that I built with Alice and his team of evil scientists, and they got me a guillotine and all of Alice's straight jackets and things like that. And we did it to raise money for the Solid Rock Teen Centers. So I took a lot of the props. Like I have the 10-foot tall Frank and Alice monster. There's only
Oh,
two in the
really?
world. I have one and Alice has one. And that's where the Demon Desperado song came along. I was like, this guy needs his own song. So I wrote Demon Desperado so I can throw a cowboy hat on him and he can come out
Yeah,
and
there
do
you go.
stuff. So we're doing that. And there's a huge graveyard. My backdrop, believe it or not, is it's 30 feet wide, 15 feet tall, and it's
Holy
the
cow.
artwork off of the Snowman's truck from Smokey and the Bandit.
Okay.
And I got that from the guys who own the trademark and had that built. And then we've got a cool cemetery of moving tombstones and creeps that crawl out, and there's something to
It
look
sounds
at.
like that sounds like a pretty cool a visual as far as like watching the band as well,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
So
and then there's 7 people in the band. I've got a pedal steel player and a fiddle player who all play through Marshall stacks. And
uh,
when people are going, well, fiddle and pedal steel, what is this guy doing on the heavy metal channel? It's because we're putting it through Marshalls and it's kicking ass.
right.
When you
Yeah, yeah.
listen to Crazy Horses, the Osmonds remake that we did, the solo is done on a pedal steel through a Marshall that's just cranked through the roof, and it's cool. You can't help but go, man, that is cool. So
So are you guys on top of what you guys are playing from the album? You guys are also doing some of the covers as well then?
we do just a couple covers, but we're doing songs from this album and songs that are going on the next one that we're actually recording right now, and
Oh, okay, cool.
gonna
Is this
hope that it gets out in spring.
is this continuation, or is this something totally different?
it's it's all of the same vibe. You can't stay too long on the same story or people get bored.
Yeah.
But we didn't cross the river, if that makes any sense. It's still it's still party songs, and it's gonna sound like the same band.
You're right. Yeah, yeah.
So
Cool. I'm
yeah,
excited. I'm hoping you guys swing by
got a song
and
called "We Ain't Here to Dance, We're Here to Fight."
hey,
Yeah,
that's perfect. What
it's
do you
it's all it's all heavy as far as the word heavy can be. Like, it's heavy,
it's
but it's
cowboy.
not heavy metal always.
Right.
It's just in its own way. It's
It's got
it's
the
it
western vibe.
it grooves. Yeah, there's western, you know, there's all kinds of shit going on. So I like it, and I'm very critical about things I listen to. In fact, probably too critical. Uh, Kiss and Wasp were my favorite bands growing up, and I didn't care for anything else except for AC/DC. I'd hear that, and that was good. And Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. But when it came to "This Is My Band," it was Kiss. I didn't care as long as it had a Kiss logo on it. You know,
You belong in the
until
Kiss Army.
yeah, I was in Kiss Army, the Kiss tribute band, for a while, and some of your people have probably seen me on the reels as Paul Stanley with my head on fire, and they don't know that it's me, but that's me. Um, in those videos, have you seen it? The thing going around on for about
I
the
haven't.
past 5 years
No.
when I was in Hairball, we would open up with Detroit Rock City sometimes, or sometimes I'd come out as Gene Simmons, and the pyro went off and my hair caught on fire, and I kept singing because you don't run around and hope your guy catches you. You know, I just waited for my tech to come show up and put me out. You know, so I'm sure a lot of your listeners have seen that. That's me.
I'm sure. I'll have to. I'll bring it up and put a link on.
That was my real hair. And yes, I knew I was on fire. No, I wasn't high. I wasn't drunk.
Did it hurt? You burned?
Well, it got very close to my scalp after 13 seconds. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I
I got
bet.
a serious haircut on Monday. So that happened in Cedar Rapids, Iowa on a Friday. And I had a lot of hair almost down to my waist. And then on Monday, I didn't. It was very short. I still have it all, even though it's pulled back here.
Yeah.
It's all growing out and it's
So
healthy.
did it
But
happen on the top here and just?
it caught from a pyro going off, and a piece of shrapnel that was burning landed between my guitar strap and my Paul Stanley jacket.
Oh, yeah.
So my hair just went up from the back, and you can watch it climb and become this towering inferno of fire.
Damn.
And so,
Did
good
it
thing I
burn your
had
scalp
hairspray
at
in my
all?
hair, because the hairspray saved me. If I wouldn't have had hairspray, it would have went up really fast, and then I would have had third-degree burns and shit. But thank God for the hairspray, because the chemicals just kind of burned like a candle, and it saved me. So
Yeah. I mean, it's not funny, but it's funny. But it, I guess. Well, at
well,
least somebody filmed it.
yeah, that was good. It's actually helped me gain a lot of fans since then. And and Alice said, "Well, I've got the chicken. Ozzy has the bats, and you have the hair fire." So you
Yeah.
know,
And
they,
Hetfield has the burned arm and half his
yeah,
face.
yeah, and Michael Jackson has a hair fire too, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's right. He did.
But
So I guess
but
he got overshowered.
Michael freaked out and stopped. I continued on with the show like the
He pow-
badass that I am.
yeah,
Yep,
he
and
powered through.
did the songs. Yeah, so
Uh,
Ricky
that's
Bobby was on fire.
right. There you go. That's another thing. It kind of reminded me of it as well. Is that whole, like you were saying, playing the race car strips and stuff, that it did remind me of like the Ricky Bobby type.
Yeah, yeah. And we have a song on the record called Hot Rod Vega, and that's about a girl who drag races her car, and it's my mama's car. She was a drag racer, so
She
yeah,
raced the Vega.
she did not,
Oh,
but she raced a Camaro and a Mustang back in the early 70s. And I didn't know that. I was adopted. I just met her a year ago, and when we were working on this song, it was Daryl. So the song about Daryl driving his cars, and then she said that she raced uh, dragsters, and so I changed it to Rosie, which is her name. So for
oh,
the song, I thought, hey, there you go. We'll do this for you.
nice.
Yeah,
That's it's nice. That and obviously that's got to be tough as well, and interesting at the same time.
yeah.
When you find something out like that, and just
Well,
finding out your mom in general.
when I found that out, I went, okay, I get it. I get it. Why I like to race and get dirty and
That's
play in the
true.
mud and gun it and go fast. It all made sense. So
Yeah, it's in your blood
yeah,
for sure.
yeah, it's pretty good. So
Yeah. So okay, I'm trying to think. You only have a few dates, right? So
well,
far,
yeah,
and you're working on more.
we've got like 6 dates.
Okay.
We did our album release party in June to pretty much a sold out crowd in Minneapolis, which was very nice. They all stuck around for songs they didn't know. And next week we're doing our first show for what I'll call the fall tour
Hmm.
thing. I guess we'll just use that for lack of a better word. Um, in Wisconsin at the Hurdle Casino on the 30th of August, and then September 5th, we're at a place called the Music Room in St. Michael, Minnesota. And then we're over in Hudson, Wisconsin for a big tent party. Tent parties is where we belong to because people like to drink beer and be outside. Uh, so we're just back and forth between the read in a little regional thing.
For
And
sure.
then things are starting to be put together for next year, but I don't want to hex anything by saying it. So
Right. Yeah. I'm hoping you're coming my way. Because I definitely want to check out the show. You got me so intrigued with
well, we're gonna do our best. We used to do
with
that
everything.
Harris Casino
Uh-huh.
in Kansas City, and I'd like to get back down there with this show. I think it would be cool that because it's
Yeah.
right off of 35. We
Uh-huh.
can
If
just
you have a big enough, I mean, you have the stage show to go. You just need the venue
yeah
that's going to be able to do it,
yeah.
and so yeah,
Well,
I'm looking forward to it. I would love to see you guys,
the
and
place we're playing Fridays or the first is huge. And then, we're also a band that we don't need any of that stuff. We don't need any of the special
right,
effects. We have fire and explosions and cool things going on, but we'll also play in a basement. So with nothing but a amp,
right.
So
Are you guys going
we'll,
to record any of these shows or anything like that?
yeah, yeah,
And
we're going to
or at
record
least
those
post
and
some clips and whatnot, so people can
absolutely.
check out and see what's going on.
Absolutely. I think that's really the thing that's going to help people understand what we're about and,
Correct. I
and
think
what
so.
this is. When they see it, they're going to feel like they have a little FOMO. They're going to feel like I'm missing out, if they don't come. So,
So, so if you're doing visuals and stuff like that and whatnot, how do you feel about the phones?
about the what?
Phones,
People with
like,
phones?
yeah, and like just recording stuff and this and that.
Well, I think that's free publicity. You can't pay for that. If everybody in the place films it, shares it, and said they had a great time, I'm playing a bigger room next time.
That's true.
You
And
know,
that's funny. You're the third person I talked to who has told me that
it
today.
it's at first I was really weirded out, when it was a thing, and when I was in the other band, and we'd be playing like the Omaha Arena and things like that, and it's when the phones just suddenly just popped up where everybody is like this,
Uh-huh.
and you can't even see their face, and there were times where I really just kind of said between songs, I'm right here. Why don't you just watch it? It's never going to be as good as it
Right.
is right
Uh-huh.
here, you know. And it was weird because I thought, why are you wouldn't do this if you went to a movie,
Right.
you know? So why are you doing it now? But then I started thinking, who gives a shit as long as they're filming it and sharing it and saying they had a great time? Then I should let them document whatever they want.
Yeah. Your 500 people or whatever it is turned into 3,000 or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, and like I said, at first it was weird because I'm thinking, well, why would you pay $30 or 40 or 5 even to watch a band when all you're going to do is watch them through your phone?
Yeah.
What and you're not a professional photographer,
No,
so this isn't going to you're not going to go home and relive this moment.
it's not like it's gonna be huge, great quality and pro shot and all this other stuff.
Yeah, but you know what? They're making their memories, and who am I to stand in the way of that? So I kind of had a talk with myself, and I agreed that it's really up to them to film it and have a good time. And you hope that you didn't suck, that you weren't singing terrible, and they tell their friends they had a great time.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's all you can ask for nowadays, right?
Yeah,
So
that's all I really ever wanted to be in this business for, anyways. to be like Kermit the Frog, I just want to make people happy, just play guitar and get to live the life I want to live. And you're not going to get that telling other people what to do. So I hope you all come out and film us.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Film us, share it, and fill the Facebook and Instagram with so much shit of the Dead Cowboys. People are tired of you.
Yeah. So, what do you do a lot of social media or any of that stuff?
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
do like TikTok and all that other stuff?
I it's too much for me to do it all. I kind of just stay in the Instagram and Facebook world and do that because that's the weird thing that I'm still trying to deal with and comprehend, that a songwriter can't just write a song anymore. He has to be an actor, he has to be funny, he has to have vertical footage. And it's like, man, when can the songwriter just go back to writing a song and playing it and not have to do all that?
Yeah.
So I kind of stick with that. I let the marketing team be the marketing team.
Hmm.
I try to come up with content and do that, you know.
Yeah. I tell you what, I I I was so against like TikTok and all that. Instagram, I kind of left it and I wasn't doing anything. But I opened up a TikTok account 2 days ago, and I'll tell you what, there's so much shit in there, and I'm trying to figure all this shit out because I'm trying to bring more people to watch these that are on YouTube. So I kind of
Yeah.
want to like brand them together, but man, it's driving me nuts.
Yeah, it's too much. It's like, well, when can you just be the host of a podcast?
Right, right.
You can't, because 18 hours out of your day is trying to figure out how to get TikTok to work.
Yeah, for
It's like
sure.
I can't do it. Instagram, TikTok, what's the other one? Snapchat.
Heck,
There's
you name it.
there's so much, man. It's like I'm only one guy. I can't.
I
And
just want one app that I can click and then it goes to all of them.
yes, wouldn't that be great? I think that's the ship that comes in. That's just post it here and it goes everywhere.
Yes.
That would be
I'm sure it's coming.
that would
Don't
be
don't
great. It's like
don't
tie
get me
in
wrong.
all your bullshit links and it'll be happy to share it with the world. but but there's so much, man. It's just, I don't know.
So how
So
can people reach you if they want to like chit chat? Is it Instagram or is it Facebook or
Facebook and Instagram, and just go to Dead Cowboys Official, because we do have a link there that goes to all of the things, even though I can't post on it and it goes to everything. That's the one link that will take you, or it's called a link tree or something, and it takes you to the Spotify, Apple, or Reverb Nation, YouTube, all that stuff.
Apple and all that fun stuff as
Yeah,
well?
it gets you to
So
all that. But
you're on every music platform, I take it.
yeah,
Uh,
we're
for
on
sure.
all of those.
All right.
There's a couple other groups called Dead Cowboys that were cease and desisting them. So I've owned the trademark since 2005,
Gotcha.
and so I'm trying to just get them to, unfortunately, have to change their name for them. I hate to do that to them, but they probably should have trademarked the name before I did.
You're right.
Um, so there's a couple of those that could be bad, but if you go to Dead Cowboys Official or the Dead Cowboys Band.com, both of those will take you to our website.
Yeah, and I'll post those in the links as well.
And if you put up Bobby Jensen and the Dead Cowboys in Google, it'll take you to all of it. So,
There you go. I think that'll help as well, for
you
sure.
know, Google's your friend.
Google, it sure
I
can
think,
be.
or he's the enemy. But either way, he'll find me like a bounty hunter in the night.
Yeah, for sure. Bobby, I want to thank you for hanging out with me. We did 50 minutes. Didn't even seem like it.
Awesome.
Um,
Well,
so I thank you
let's
very
do it
much. I
again.
wish nothing but the best, and And next time if you roll when you're rolling into Kansas City, I'll keep my eye out. Maybe we'll
Yep.
do something, at the venue or something like that.
Yeah.
I always like doing that too. I don't know if you do, but I
Yep.
do.
Yep. Always.
And get some going, and hopefully I'll talk to some of my friends who do shows on the Bikers Inner Circle. I think you're a perfect fit. I'm gonna have them take a listen and see what they think as well, because
Awesome.
they're always looking for stuff, you know,
Cool. Well,
different
that's
stuff.
where we belong. I grew up on a 77 shovel head. So,
Yeah,
those are my people.
yeah, and I'm
So
sure I'm a lot of times they'll reach out too, and I'll give them Michael's stuff, and they can kind of, if they want to reach out, they can reach out. Sure.
awesome. That'd be great.
All
Yeah,
right.
and when we hit Kansas City, I'll be sure we'll get together and yuck it up for a little bit.
Sounds good to me. All right. Thank you so much, Bobby.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Have a good day.
Thanks.